and welcome to another week of Just Gay Stuff podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I am Jess. And wow, do we have an interview for you today?
We sure do.
Well, it's a very important episode, I have to say, because we're highlighting an event that is upcoming on Saturday, August 3rd, and it is called Queerswich. And if the name doesn't give you a little bit of a nibble to start with, we thought what better way to tell you all about Queerswich than to invite the lovely ladies who put this event together onto the pod to tell you themselves.
Yes, so today we are very humbled to introduce you to Jules and Rach, who are behind this magical event. Hello, Jules and Rach.
Hi guys, thanks for having us. Thank you.
Oh, we're so humbled to have any guest join us, but honestly, for you guys to have been putting this event together and then we're part of this event.
We are part of this event.
Absolutely.
So even more exciting to have you on and for us to collab in this way as well.
Yes.
So to start off the episode, tell us a bit about Queerswich.
So we've lived in Ipswich. So we've been together 21 years next month. And
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Married for 6. But Jules was working in the RAF and I and my son moved out here and knew nothing of Ipswich. And we kind of really made this our home base and we love it here.
We love Ipswich.
But apart from our amazing drag queens, and there's always been a really great drag presence in Ipswich.
They're fabulous.
Fabulous.
Ipswich.
That's awesome.
And multiple groups of them, and they get such a good following. But apart from that, there was really nothing queer in Ipswich. And I worked for, and I won't say who, but I worked for a very big organisation that in 2020, they released a whole raft of new employee policies. So for, First Nations, for differently abled, for, you name it. But there was nothing for LGBTQIA+. And I challenged it and I was like, what? And they basically said to me, and this is pretty much verbatim, they said, we're not mature enough as an organisation to have a queer policy. We think it would make too many people feel uncomfortable. This, can I tell you, was late 2020, early 2021. So we're not talking like 20 years ago. We're talking like recently.
Oh my God.
I stopped working for that organisation not long after that. And it kind of really sparked a conversation with us where we were like, well, that's bullshit for one. But what is the representation? Because for us, we've kind of lived in our own little bubble for 21 years, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. So we wanted to be the change that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
So we said instead of lamenting the fact that there wasn't much queer representation in Ipswich, well, do something about it.
Yeah.
So that's how Queerswich came about.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing.
and I've done events in Ipswich called Kitchen the Switch. So I really like that play on Ipswich. So that's how Queerswich kind of came about.
It's a reclaimed word, queer, now. We claim it. It's not a,
It's a good word.
It's no longer a
we
derogatory
can be
term.
proud of the word.
Yeah, love
Exactly.
So our first Queerswich was last year in June, and this one on the 3rd of August will be our second. And I think it's going to be bigger.
I think so.
Yeah,
Awesome.
crowd-wise, just magnitude. I think it's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
Well, you've kind of answered our next question, which was how did the idea come about? But so what was the process for you guys to get it off the ground once the idea came to you?
I think in a lot of ways we were kind of lucky because my background was event management and major event management, and particularly in this space.
In the exact same space as what Queerswich is running.
Yeah, I did the marketing and events there for a long time. And so this was kind of like, we sort of knew the background of how to put an event together. And it was like, well, how do we do this? And we approached people and we talked to our drag queens, we talked to friends, and it kind of just went from there. And we just really, we were winging it the whole time.
Oh, look,
honestly.
I've been on a massive learning curve because my background isn't in events, but I've learned a lot from Rach. And if enthusiasm counts for anything, then I've thrown myself into it. And it's amazing we're really proud of what we're achieving. So
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the other things too is I worked in radio in Ipswich for a couple of years, and I did a Pride thing last year where for Pride Month I interviewed a whole lot of different people in the community, trans people and queer and bi and, a whole lot of different people, all different ages, all different demographics. And just every single person said, God, I wish there was something in Ipswich. There's nothing in Ipswich. There's never anything in Ipswich. So it was like, oh, okay.
I mean, we're lucky in a lot of ways that we're so close to Brisbane. You can just get on a train or jump in the car and get down to Brisbane, and there's plenty of things on in Brisbane. But, there's not a lot in Ipswich to do or see. And it's been interesting because some of our friends have sort of, when we first started talking about Queerswich, said, why do you need a LGBTQIA plus event?
Yeah.
Because
why don't you?
You got the same-sex marriage.
Yeah, what else is there?
What else do you need? And our big thing was, well, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
But when was the last time you saw two gay guys, obviously a couple, holding hands in the local,
Walking down the
Woolworths
street,
or
yeah.
somewhere, in Ipswich. And their response was, "Oh, you never see it." I said, we're out there, that we're represented in the community, but we're hiding.
Yeah.
Hiding in our own city. And that's not okay.
No, it's not. And I mean, one of the things that really hit a nerve for me was we were talking to a bunch of our drag queen friends, and we were sitting, they were here at our place, we were sitting around having drinks, and they said something about being able to run in high heels. Now, I can't even walk in like a running shoe. Like, I'm hopeless. I fall off them.
Yeah.
If it's not Docs, it's Converse, and that's pretty much as high as I go. But the drag queens are talking about how they can run in these stilettos. And I was like, how do you learn to run, or what makes you like know that you can run? And they were like, because we have to. And it was a really sobering moment where we went, and they were like, because we're going to get bashed if we stand still.
Wow.
And it was like, and they expect it. Like, that is, and this is now, and other drag queen friends who are much older, who were gay men in Australia in the 80s, they have even more horrific stories to tell. Yeah. So it's been really eye-opening, and it's just, we kind of deliberately went and educated ourselves, and we kind of really did a deep dive into getting to know all aspects of our community and going, well, what's missing? Like, where are the holes in our community? What are we not doing that we need? So it's been a really interesting journey for us.
Yeah, we've learned a lot. And it's only our second year, so look out. We're going to take this.
I think it is about creating safe space though, isn't it? Because we are all here and we all exist, but it's like, if you don't feel safe enough to exist in your community, you're going to feel like you have to go back into the closet in aspects of your life, and no one should have to do that. We should be able to live authentically ourselves. And hearing your story about how you wanted to put it together, it kind of like rings true as to why Lauren and I started the podcast. It's the exact same, We want to highlight where everyone's individual story has come from, every hurdle that we've had to overcome individually, because all of our experiences are so different, and the only way forward is education, and the best education is storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. And normalizing and making it so visible that it just becomes like run of the mill, and people don't react anymore. They're like, what else? Great.
Yeah, exactly.
There's those gays again doing their rainbow thing.
What really stuns us is the amount of shit we cop on Facebook and with social media in general. Last year, this year is a bit better, but last year was pretty scary.
It was confronting.
It was very confronting, and just the level of vitriol and hatred, and it was just like, wow, the accusations.
People are out there that just hate us for being.
And that's not okay, because if we're old broads, and it's challenging for us. What's it like for a 14-year-old who doesn't have the support system, or for that as well has been quite eye-opening. And Jules quite often doesn't tell me when we get nasty stuff on Facebook, because I don't love it. I get quite upset.
So I look at all the comments and stuff. So I think
she curates what I can hear, and I'm happy with that.
I think, Lauren, you and I have been chasing each other around on all the Facebook groups. I think we belong to a lot of the same ones.
I think what's funny is when it comes to negative comments on social media, I've learnt to kind of embrace it, because people don't realise they've taken that time out of their day to throw some shade at you, but all it's done is used Facebook's algorithm to go, oh, people are interacting with this content, we're going to push it out to 10,000 more people. So Lauren and I tend to
just say thank you.
Oh, we kill it with kindness, and we go, oh, thanks. And then we've had people come back and go, why are you thanking me?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's not to be thankful for?
Yeah. But some of the comments are so out of proportion and so weird. Like you're grooming children is a big one we get.
Oh, I hate that
for
shit.
What?
Yeah.
But see,
me.
We've promoted, and we do have Queerswich as a free family fun day.
Yeah.
So it's for the families, it's for kids, it's for adults, it's for everybody in the community. But because of that, we've copped a lot of crap, that we're grooming children, keep the kids out of it.
Yeah.
What are you doing to our children?
Pedophilia.
Will someone please think of the children?
Oh my God. It's but it's like, this is so not even slightly close to anything to do with that. What you're talking about is a crime.
Yeah, exactly.
That's got nothing to fucking do with it. We've got rainbows, for God's sake. Like, we're just a nice, happy, vibey community. And it's almost like the people that really hate us and hate the whole community, they sexualize it all the time. And it's like, that's not what we're about.
No.
Just because you see some, people in the Mardi Gras wearing, some, not very much.
Some nipple tassels.
It doesn't mean that this is about sex in any way. This is purely about relationships and,
But they must have such a distorted view that everything that queer people do is sexualised and perverse.
And we are so boring. Like, we do groceries, we go to work, we raised a kid, we do house. Like,
we're normal.
That's how exciting we are. Yeah,
so normal.
We're normal.
I think, unfortunately, hatred is taught, and that's the sad thing.
But I also think as well, these people refuse to reflect on what did we all watch growing up on television? Was all of that sexualized heterosexual shit?
Fairy tales. I mean, you look at those. I mean, they're horrific when you really break them down.
They're so dark,
like,
aren't they?
Non-consent and
So you've spoken about this isn't the first time that you've run the event, but what are some of the big progressions that you've seen from last year to this year, even before the events happened?
So last year we did like diversity story time. We originally wanted to do drag queen story time, and as we all know, that is like a shit show where everyone's full of hate. Like,
that's
honestly,
been
it's
cancelled.
so much fun.
It's triggering for a lot of people.
It was probably the big thing that people were like, whoa, what are you doing? So we changed it to diversity story time, and we had like elders, we had trans people, we had
my parents,
your parents, we had
reading stories,
the local police officers. I think we had the mayor of Ipswich. Like, we had a whole lot of different people doing stories. So that was a massive pain point for us because we had to hire a truck. We had to pick up the throne. It cost us a fortune. And literally like maybe 2 kids turned up to the diversity story time because they were all over at the stage watching the drag queens because that's where they wanted to be. And we were like, you know what? Fuck it. We're not doing that this year. So that was probably a big change for us because it's like, you know what? The drag queens are so fun.
Yeah.
That's what they want to watch. And the drag queens have been amazing because they have really like toned down their performances, their names, everything. So
to try and make it as PC as possible.
Absolutely. So it is kid friendly.
Yeah.
But so that's probably one of the things that we've gone, you know what, that was a lot of work and pain and we're not doing that this year.
But I think a lot of people were giving us feedback that it was a really good vibe last year.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere was really good. And that's what they kept talking about, was it a really nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what we've got on stage or what market stalls or anything we have, we're chasing that same vibe.
And what was cool was we had some really beautiful stories and we saw some amazing things. Like there were people that came out to their families on that day because they were coming to Queerswich.
Wow.
And that made us cry.
That's so special.
Yeah, and there were these 2 boys and they must have been about 14 or 15, super awkward, and they're walking around holding hands and you could just tell by their face it was the first time they'd ever been able to go anywhere and hold hands in public, and I had a tear.
And it was okay.
And it was okay. But the looks of their faces was like,
is this okay?
Holding hands and it's okay. This is why we do it.
That's when you know you've done it.
You've made
it. You've made a difference to one person and that's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
It's super commendable that, you know, we often talk about in queer spaces, it's for adults only or like 18 plus in the drag and clubby scene. So I think it's such a beautiful event that you guys are putting on for a family friendly day. You don't necessarily come out at 18.
No, that's exactly right. We seem to live in this world where everything queer seems to be suited for like alcohol and drug fueled environments, and it's just that's not the truth.
Yes, you're so right.
Yeah,
it's so not.
Creating those safe spaces for the younger generation to feel safe and come out early and not be around drugs and alcohol, which, you know, come with their own turmoil and their own journey. It's so important to create that for people and to be able to enjoy it with your family too. It gives it a whole nother level of safety.
Safe meaning.
Yeah, and we want people to come along who are maybe not 100% sure and to come to that and go, oh, okay, this is not what I thought at all. This is like,
this is actually really
good. Very wholesome. Like, this is, yeah.
But we've got a son. He's 26 now, 27 now. Yeah. And when he was growing up, it would have been so nice if we could have gone to something like Queerswich with him.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really a lot.
No.
So, we wanted to make it family friendly because we know what it's like to be a little family that is looking for something to do where you can be comfortable and see other people like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because, you know, that's one thing as well. You don't want to be separated from the rest of society because your family looks a bit different. Like
we were very lucky because we just kind of got on with it, didn't we? Like our families and friends were amazing, but we just lived in the community in Ipswich, and we have not really copped anything. Like, our son went to school here. The schools always knew that he had two mums. We managed his footy team when he was little, like just really that kind of stuff. Like, it was never a big deal, was it?
No.
Maybe got a couple of funny looks occasionally, but mostly people got to know us and they were like, oh God, you're just as boring as everyone else. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's it. We are as boring as everyone else. I don't know why everyone makes such a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not out at the clubs.
We're not going out to clubs.
We're in bed by 9 o'clock. It's be old.
I'd say same, but we're editing podcasts constantly. You guys spoke briefly about the highlights of Queerswich being drag queens and how amazing that was, but has there been any other highlights that have stood out for you in doing this event?
I think the formation of Queerswich Social has probably been a big one.
Oh, yeah. After Queerswich, we were getting a lot of people who were touching base with us and saying, you know, oh, is there any groups around? Where do I go for this service? How can I get help with this and that? A whole bunch of LGBTQIA plus people just approaching us. And we thought there needs to be more connection, not just for Queerswich, but throughout the year as well. So we decided to do Queerswich Social. So that's been a real highlight. It's a monthly get-together at Banshee's Bar and Art Space in the middle of Ipswich, and we just get together on a Saturday afternoon, usually have a guest speaker, always have raffles.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have the raffles. Yeah, it's just been this connection with community, and we've been getting to know some amazing people, have made some really good friends out of it as well.
And it's been really good too, because as we know, like, so much of our community is quite neurodivergent, and so this is a space where you can come along. If you're on your own, we can introduce you to people, because a lot of our friends are there and they will take you under their wing and look after you. Or for people who are particularly, you know, socially anxious and it's a real struggle, there is, you know, quieter spaces towards the back of the venue where you can just sit and observe and
take it all in.
So you can choose, like, your own adventure kind of thing, really, at Queerswich Social.
I love that. Choose your own adventure.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That took me back to primary school, reading those books.
So, that was another kind of high point that came up for us. And it's helping to grow that community.
Yeah.
And now.
But at Queerswich itself, for me, after all the work and everything that's involved, getting there and just being able to sit back and look at the drag queens on stage, and we had almost 5,500 people rock up to the event, and they're all there and they're all yahooing and clapping and cheering. And that was the moment that I just took a step back and just went, oh my God, it worked. Oh my God. The people have come, the people are happy, everyone's enjoying themselves, no one protested. That was a really sweet moment where I just sat back and just took it all in. Yeah. And it was like, wow, all of those worries and hard work and it all paid off.
And did you have those worries that people would turn up and protest?
Yes,
absolutely.
100%. We were really scared.
Yeah.
Wow. The day before, we were petrified. We were like, what have we done? What have we done? Like Rocky in a corner kind of vibe.
Because we've really put it out there. Like, we've used our names everywhere.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be hard to find our address through our business.
Well, and to be honest, we had the police out here at one point to do a safety audit on our house because we were really scared that they would find us, and it was when
somebody would track us down.
Yeah. So the police came and actually did a safety audit to make sure that we were secure. And that was really confronting, to have to be in that position where the police were in our house making sure that someone couldn't break in and kill us. Like, that's kind of where it went to. But we were like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to do it. And it kind of fueled our hate fire, didn't it? We were like, no, we're doing this.
We're doing this.
We were terrified, but we did it.
Yeah. If we're honest, we were scared.
Freaking out. But there was a moment at Queerswich where there was like a little cluster of people up the top of the street kind of looking down, and we were keeping an eye on them. And there was one of them kind of broke away from that little herd and came down, and he had a religious T-shirt on. I don't know what it was, a particular group. And he came down, and I think he's clocked like the 7-foot drag queens everywhere and just gone, nope. And then I went.
See, the drag queens save the day every time.
Yes, and we had such a big police presence. They were
the police have been amazing.
Yes, they even bought rainbow socks for the horses just to be part of Queerswich. I know, and rainbow boas and stuff.
Like, I know our community has got a awkward relationship with police, but with our experience and with their support of Queerswich, it has just been so positive,
amazing,
and making sure that it all goes smoothly smoothly. And on the day, there was a wall of blue.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, you felt safe.
And they were all on active duty too, including the mounted police. So,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone has the right to their own emotions surrounding the police, and especially where our community has come from in terms of what we've had to come up against. But I think it's important to recognise that while we can't change the past, we can change the future. The future that is now is that the police are supporting us, and the police have queer presence within the police
community,
service.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Exactly.
I think it's important to recognise that and the steps that all those different groups are trying to make a better and safer place for us all.
Yeah. We have really appreciated and continue to appreciate what they do for us. Like, they've just been amazing.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
That's so good.
So awesome.
Well, we've talked a lot about Queerswich, which is fabulous, and I know that Jess and I are super excited to be a part of it.
I'm so excited.
We're so pleased that you're going to be a part of it.
And musically as well.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Gonna.
I want to rewind and take it a little bit back to talk about your individual self-discovery stories and your coming out stories. So where did that start for you both?
yeah, so we were both married to men early on. I got married at 21 because at 21 you make great decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At 4, I kind of was in love with one woman, so I knew, and Linda Carter, I just, yeah. I tried really hard to be hetero for a really long time and it just didn't take. And when I was about 24, I'd had my son, he was 3, and I was out at a bar with some girlfriends at the beat in the valley, and I was talking to this bloke who was a friend of a friend. Always starts at the beat. And he got my phone number and he didn't ring. And I was like trying really hard to be upset about that. And I just had this moment, like it was a full-on Homer Simpson dope moment where I just went, I'm not upset. Why am I not upset? Why did I always have posters of girls on my walls when I was growing up? And it was just like everything just fell into place. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, that's why. And then I just came out to everybody. And they were like, a lot of them, including my grandmother, were like, yes, darling, you know.
Someone could have told me earlier.
Didn't think to mention it to me, Grandma. Yeah. And then we met.
Yeah. I met my husband-to-be when I was about 17, 18. So I very much wanted the white picket fence and the family of however many children. And that's the path I was headed on. I got married and things seemed to be mapped out for me. Like it was all going perfectly well. The marriage broke down, and that's when I started to do a lot of soul searching. And my coming out story is Xena, Warrior Princess.
I love that. Lucy Lawless for the win.
As my marriage was breaking down, I was obsessed with Xena. Not just the TV show, but all the fan fiction on the interwebs. And I was just reading all these stories, and it's like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
And my poor
And you kind
mother,
of got it. Can I say Rach bears a great
Yes.
resemblance?
I know, right? Thank you.
I don't hate
that. But I remember my poor mum telling her in one day, I was on the phone and I said, oh, yeah, by the way, I've left my husband. She's like, oh, my goodness, you know. And I said, oh, and I also like chicks.
Specifically Xena.
With a double whammy.
How did she take it?
Exactly as I expected. She just went, you know, we love you no matter what, whatever.
So we were so lucky. We've both had that.
we've
That's
been
so
very
good.
lucky.
We've got amazing parents.
That's so good because, you know, as you all know, not everyone has that experience. So
No.
to be one of the lucky ones and have people in your life just accept you for who you are is the most amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And we don't take it for granted.
No.
We are so
Yeah.
appreciative.
And for Lauren and I to listen to so many stories and have so many positive responses like that, it just makes our hearts sing.
You'll probably meet my parents at Queerswich. They were there last year with their rainbow gear on. Mum's got a rainbow socks and a rainbow jacket and a
They're
hat.
90 and 91, by the
90
way.
and 91.
They'll be
And,
Nice. Love it.
They'll be there.
That's
Mum
so
made
good.
sure she did a raffle for us.
Oh, yeah, so
everything in
excited.
the rainbow that she could find at Overflow is in this raffle.
Do you still have an overflow in Ipswich?
Carindale, I
Yeah.
think she goes to, or one of them at Cannon Hill or something.
Oh, Cannon Hill,
What's an
yes.
overflow?
Oh,
Overflow?
it's like a reject shop,
Ah.
the OG reject shop. Yeah.
But kind of bigger and more stuff.
So buy a raffle ticket and you might win this big box of rainbow
goodies.
stuff.
I love that.
Love it.
So you kind of answered the next question. You guys are on a roll.
Sorry.
So we were asking, celebrity crushes. So did it start with Xena for Jules and then,
Linda Carter, the
Linda
original
Carter.
Wonder Woman.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was 4, so
Anyone else after that?
can I tell you, I knew Kristen Stewart was gay from the beginning.
I think
we all knew.
I had a crush on her.
When she was in Twilight, Rachel's saying, she's gay. She's gay. I don't buy this whole I'm in love with a vampire business.
Yeah, Ruby Rose is another big one for me.
Yeah.
Love Ruby. Oh, Pink. Pink was a really pivotal one because, I was so disappointed and devastated when she married a dude. Like, that really I was like, no.
I think a lot of people in the queer community were actually.
Yeah, very disappointed.
I mean, not that I was ever going to meet her, but, I was devastated that she got married.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, you just want people that you admire to be more like
available.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of us. One of us.
Available.
I chant that when I am driving behind a car and it's got like a little rainbow sticker. I'm like, one of us.
One of us.
I won't cut you off in traffic if you've got a rainbow sticker on the car.
Exactly.
So then how did you meet each other?
We met on the pink sofa, which was a chat room. There is a new pink sofa now, but we're talking the old school chat rooms where you would be typing, I'm now walking into the room, and you would be talking to maybe 12 different people that are all in the same room, and back and forth, and the chat would just constantly go. It was really very exciting. That was one of my first forays into the queer community. And one night I decided, I could go to bed, or I could just see who's on the pink sofa tonight. And I went into one of the chat rooms, and you had the handle Wonder Woman, and I had the handle Paw Prince, and we just started chatting back and forth while
I was supposed to be studying for uni. I wasn't. Because I used to have to wait till like 11 o'clock at night when my son was asleep, and then I could jump on and do some assignments. And so I was like, I'm going to check out this pink sofa.
Yeah, so we started chatting, and it was bizarre because I'm typing, and we were talking about like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Would that have been
Although we don't talk about that now because
no. And it was like I would go to type something, and the next minute, pop it, and Rachel would virtually be taking the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
and we were finishing each other's sentences, and it was just like, this is so bizarre. What's going on here? Anyway, so the next night we talked on the phone, and then 2 nights later we met up at a Garuvas, which used to be in the Valley. It was the most amazing restaurant. You'd have all these sheets, like curtains. So you had like your own personal little dining area.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Shielded by all these curtains. It was such a great restaurant. And we met there, and I think I went home a couple of days later.
Yeah. And then I moved to Ipswich. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It could not be more of a cliche because Liam and I moved to Ipswich to be with you about 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Typical.
Like, so every time I hear the joke, what is a lesbian take on a second date? A U-Haul. It's like, yep.
Yeah.
We get it.
You were like, nah, first date. What are they talking about?
Yes, we're still on the first date, really. Technically. Yeah.
Did you ever go home? No.
Neither, really.
I think you went home to get a change of clothes, and then you came back again, and then we started packing up my apartment, and I moved to Ipswich.
It happened very fast.
Very fast.
And then 20 plus years later.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Lucky her.
Yeah.
Lucky me.
So, and we got to raise our son together, and it's been amazing.
What an amazing experience.
He's now a fully grown-up person, and he's married and living in Melbourne, but they're flying up for Queerswich.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they'll be here to help and see us. We can't wait to see them.
No. And he's a videographer, so he's going to be videoing. Cool. And our daughter-in-law, who is amazing, she's going to be taking photos. And
awesome.
The whole family is there, really.
So cool.
What a great chat we've had so far.
We have. Before we go, let's just kind of remind everyone what they can expect from Queerswich.
Give us all the details for the day.
Yeah.
Well, we have this duo called Scarlett Gunner coming along, which I'm pretty excited
They're going to
about.
be amazing.
Yep.
So a half-hour set.
Woo-hoo. We've got DJ Gav, who is like a local DJ. He was there last year. He's been around the traps forever. I love DJ Gav. He's amazing. Brizzy Pride Choir.
We've got 3 drag queen troupes that are going to be performing. So that's Palace Ipswich, Dancing with the Queens, and Golden Girls of Drag.
Yep.
So they're going to do a drag show, each troupe. We also have 2 drag kings coming along this year as well, which we didn't have last year. So that's really exciting.
That's cool.
We've got another band called Hippie Soldiers. Yep. They'll be rounding out the stage performances for us.
We've got That Production Company, which Tim Wynn is, he's won awards for local theatre. So he is doing like I think it's the Go-Go's, but he's doing like a condensed version of his show for half an hour. So that's going to be awesome. Damien, Alt Electro, Damien Johnson, he's amazing.
And we have the Pause for Pride puppy pageant.
Yes.
Because, us queers, we love our pets.
We do.
So people can enter their doggos into the pageant and win prizes. Yep. So they should be pretty happy with the prizes we've managed to get this year.
That's the other thing. People are so generous. Like companies are amazingly generous. There are so many different, pet supply companies and vets who've donated stuff. So we've got these massive big prize packs for the 3 winners, plus little goodie bags for everyone who enters. So
it's going to be fun. I'm absolutely obsessed, dog mad person. So for
I'm
me,
more of a cat person, really.
So it's my baby, the pet parade. So it really is. I can't wait.
Too bad ours aren't well behaved.
Yeah, we have 2 sausage dogs. They're not well behaved. Well, one of them is not well behaved.
He's a pup, though.
Yeah, he's still young.
Okay, so they'll be staying home.
Yeah. More of the details, though. So everyone who's listening, it's Saturday, August 3rd from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Where are we headed to go?
Tulmur Place in Nicholas Street Precinct. So same place as last year. What's really cool is the front of the new council building at 1 Nicholas Street, right in the space. Every one of the windows has like a blade of like LED light that can be programmed. So they're programming rainbow lights for us.
That is amazing.
So as the sun goes down and it starts to get dark, all the lights will come up and be rainbow everywhere.
And then everyone who's there, who's over 18, can head up to the Banshees Bar and Art Space. They're doing an after party. So there's going to be images of Stonewall, paying tribute to our forebears. It's going to be amazing. And I mean, there's so much going on. We've got raffles. We've got an art show as well. If anyone wants to enter, there's still time.
It's called the Friends of Dorothy Art Show.
And it's put together by some friends of ours from Ipswich Arts Connect and also a gallery in town. And they're doing a 3-week art show for us.
Yep.
But they're also donating a Trixie Mattel Barbie doll.
Wow.
Oh, awesome. I saw those.
Yes, valued at some insane amount of money. So we're selling raffle tickets for that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyone who is listening, get down to Queerswich. It's going to be amazing.
Yes,
There's so much going on.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. Jules and Rach will be there.
Other raffles as well. And the money raised from that will go to the Ipswich Hospital Foundation and Animal Welfare League Queensland. So we're going to split the proceeds and donate to those charities.
Amazing.
And we've got a local gym helping us out with set up and pack down of furniture, which is one of the toughest jobs. And they support a suicide prevention charity. So we're going to donate some money to their charity as well. So,
So it's all about giving back.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of market stalls, and we've got a bigger contingent this year of community stalls. So services and providers that help with the LGBTQIA plus community, they'll be represented. And I think that's one of the big key features. We want Queerswich to be a lot of fun and a lot of, laughter, but also putting essential services in front of people who need it. Yeah. So that's a really big part of it. We want to make sure we always do that.
And we'll have some VIP guests as well. So we'll have the Mayor Teresa Harding and the Honourable Shane Newman will be helping to intro it. And then Member for Ipswich, Jen Howard, will be helping with the closing.
Awesome.
So the community support has been amazing.
Phenomenal.
Well, it comes back to community, doesn't it? And that's the only way we're going to move forward is to help each other out, scratch each other's backs, and we can move forward together.
And in saying that, you guys have been such an amazing, biggest support for us.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us as well. That has been amazing.
Our pleasure.
We can't wait to see you on the day.
Yay! I know.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so much fun.
So I'm going to drill this into our listeners' ears. Are you ready? August 3rd, it is a Saturday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m, Queerswich. We will put all of the links and all of the information in the episode notes for this episode. So if you're not sure or you need an extra little helping hand, go to the show notes. We'll have everything there. Make sure you follow Queerswich on all of the socials. Follow all the acts, follow us. And get there to be amongst it. There's so much isolation in the world, and you don't have to feel isolated. There's all these things, and Jules and Rach have gone to so much trouble to make sure that you don't feel alone. So get amongst community, get amongst Queerswich.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
No, really appreciate that.
We appreciate you coming on for the chat and beefing up your event and telling everyone about it.
Yep, we love talking about Queerswich.
We do.
Awesome. Well, we'll say goodbye to you now, and we'll see you on the day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right.
No,
thank you so
much. Thanks for joining us. See
ya. Jules and Rach are such a vibe.
They are. So everyone, I cannot stress this enough. Queerswich is such an amazing event that everyone who is in the area or even not in the area needs to get down to if you want to be amongst so much family friendly fun
Yeah.
and community. And it all comes back to community.
I think that's what's super exciting about this event. It's like, you know, you see all those fetes and those carnivals run by schools and you're like, well, this is queer.
This is
queer carnival.
A queer carnival for everybody.
For everybody.
So let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be queer to come down and celebrate and enjoy this community.
You can just come and be a part of the fun and see what it's all about and just come and be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll see you there because we're podcasting live. So make sure you get down. And if you have a story to share, come up
say
and see
hello.
us. Yeah. Well, this week for our outro song, we are featuring an amazing artist named Lizz Shine. She has just released this song today, actually. So this is Lizz's beautiful song called Good Times. Well, until Queerswich, well, no, we'll have another episode before Queerswich. But until then,
stay gay, motherfuckers.
And love who you love and get lost in a real good time, a real good time, a real good time.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Just Gay Stuff. Make sure to follow us at Just Gay Stuff Podcast on all your socials and write to us with your stories at justgaystuffpodcast@gmail.com.